It's an annual tradition for thousands of Maryland school children during baseball season.
Stay together, let's go.
Come on this way, guys, come on.
A field trip to Oriole Park at Camden Yards.
That's your favorite?
With WJZ's first warning weather team. It's a day of fun.
Cool.
And learning how the weather affects everyone.
This is Weather Day!
WJZ, the Baltimore Orioles, and Masson present Weather Field Trip Day. Now, here's WJZ's first warning weather team. Meteorologist Chelsea Ingram. Meteorologist Tim Williams. And WJZ's very own Bob Turk.
Good morning, everybody. How you doing? How's everybody way over there in right field? How's everybody in left field? All right. Well, welcome to WJZ, Masson, and the Baltimore Orioles' 8th annual Weather Day. And we're going to get things started with, guess what? A big selfie. How about that?
So we're going to turn around and do this. Ready?
All right. We're going to talk about weather and how it impacts everything you do in your life. Even today, how you like this weather? Wish we could control it. Take a look at the Jumbotron and we'll show you how weather affects everyone. The job of head groundskeeper falls squarely on the shoulders of Nicole McFadden. She's one of only 2 women in the major leagues who holds the position, and all of the weather that affects you also affects Nicole's duties here at Camden Yards. Weather forecasting is a big part of what Nicole does, and she uses the same radar as meteorologists use to determine the weather for an Orioles game.
Severe weather coming about 76 miles away. So I'll be monitoring that as it gets closer to the ballpark.
The skies over third base help Nicole tell when bad weather is heading this way.
I always look to third baseline and watch the clouds because the clouds roll from west to east, so I can see any potential brewing storms in the distance.
But determining how to care for the ground can be tricky. There are several things to consider, just like when you get dressed for the day.
If it's raining out, we have to cover the infield dirt so the rain doesn't turn it into mud. If it's hot outside, I have to cool off the grass using the irrigation system. If it's cold outside, I hope for snow because it acts as an insulator for the grass root.
And during lightning?
Just like you guys say, when thunder roars, go indoors. We have to watch out for the wind speeds, a lightning strike, worry about everybody in the stands and make sure that they're safe. It's part of my responsibility to update and talk to the umpires on the field about what kind of weather is coming for every game.
In the end, science and sports go hand in hand to make a day at the ballpark both enjoyable and safe. Everybody say, hi, Nicole. Nicole is one of only 2 women in the entire major leagues who is a head groundskeeper. Nicole, why did you want to be a head groundskeeper?
Well, I love studying science, the science of grass. It's really fascinating, and I love baseball, and I wanted to put both of them together, so here I am.
You set up there something very important. What would you like everybody here to remember, especially during the summer? You have to pay attention to it here as well.
Thunderstorms are very important to pay attention to. Lightning can affect everybody at any time, so when thunder roars, definitely go indoors.
Okay. And one thing that I want to really stress, science is really important, and everybody can be a scientist. What would you like to say to the young ladies here who may want to be scientists?
Think outside the box. You can mix science with anything fun that you love to do, being outdoors, and girls can do anything guys can do.
Ooh, you hear that, ladies, right?
I like it.
Thank you, Nicole. Here's our other scientist. Chelsea's a meteorologist.
Tim, a lot goes into a forecast. The graphics that you see when you're watching TV, you want to know what goes behind all of that? Well, this is how we do it. Take a look.
I know you see me. I'ma do it like I'm doing it for TV. I know you see me. I'ma do it like I'm doing it for TV.
Doppler radar, like ours here at WJZ, reports the location and strength of precipitation, along with wind direction and speed. No meteorologist can do their job without Doppler radar.
Weather satellites in space allow us to view large weather systems on a worldwide scale. Meteorologists get their information from space to Earth through satellite dishes like these. They show cloud formations and big weather events like hurricanes.
Forecasters also rely on trained human observation for weather information, including rainfall amounts, tornado spotting, and everyday conditions.
Weather stations, weather buoys, ships and airplanes are all sources of weather information that meteorologists use. And that's how we do it.
We'll be right back with more Weather Field Trip Day. It's WJZ.
Hi, Mom. If you're at home, I love you. This is Weather Day.
Now, back to Weather Field Trip Day on WJZ.
I've got meteorologist Chris Strong here with us today. He works at the National Weather Service. So Chris, tell me what this is.
This is a weather balloon. We use this to measure what's going on above us because we all have those weather stations. You have them, schools have them where they measure what's going on down here. But obviously the rain's coming down from above. We need to measure what's going on up there with temperatures, humidity, winds, all that. And that's what this does. These go up so high that actually, if there's some YouTube videos out there you can check out, you can actually see the curvature of the Earth when they get up as high, 3 times as high as we fly in jet planes.
And how far do they travel?
These depends on the day. If it's a quiet, tranquil day, they can come up and down pretty much close to where we land, where we launch them from. But if it's a windy day, especially in the wintertime, these can go out on the eastern shore or sometimes even out towards the ocean.
So how often are they launched?
We do this twice a day, all across the country, actually all across the world. If you were looking down from a satellite, you could actually see all these going up at the same time all across the planet.
And this data goes into the computer models that we use to forecast, right?
Yeah, one of the big things with forecasting is you need to know what's going on now if you're going to forecast the future. And the better you can do that, the better the forecast is going to be.
Do you guys want to launch it? All right. So we're going to count down from 10, and then we'll say bye balloon, okay? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Bye balloon!
So weather balloons also help to forecast things like winter weather. So for more on that, let's go to Bob Turk.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chelsea. That thing's probably going to end up somewhere in who knows where, Western Maryland, somewhere. All right, our next topic is winter weather. We're talking snow, sleet, freezing rain. Take a quick look at this. Learn about winter weather here in the Maryland area. Snow, sleet, and freezing rain. We get all these types of winter weather across Maryland, so what's the difference between them? Most precipitation starts as snow way up in the atmosphere, even in the summertime. However, in the summertime, the warm air melts anything frozen, so it falls to the ground as rain. But in the winter, it's a different story. With cold air all the way to the ground, that precipitation can stay as snow as it falls. The colder the air, the fluffier the snow. But sometimes it's not that simple, especially here in Maryland. A lot of storms draw in warmer air from the ocean. When the snow falls into that warm air, it starts to melt. If there's only a little warm air, there's not enough time for the snow to completely melt, and it falls in the form of sleet. If there's a lot more warm air pulled into the storm, the snow will melt into rain on its way down. However, sometimes the air right at the ground is still too cold, and that rain freezes when it lands. That's called freezing rain. Freezing rain is particularly dangerous because it looks like rain falling, but actually creates a sheet of ice. Freezing rain and sleet can still get you days off from school in the winter, but snow is usually the most fun. And this past winter, we missed some school, didn't we, because of snow and freezing rain, particularly in places north and west of the city. Up in the Hereford zone, we get a lot more snow than we do here even in downtown Baltimore. Now, I've got some sticks I want to show you something. This tall stick, you know what this represents? This represents the most snow we've ever gotten officially in the Baltimore area. Take a look at those numbers. 77 inches. That was back in 2009 and 2010. You remember we had 3 blizzards that year. We missed about 10 days of school that year. This next stick right here, this represents how much snow we got this year. Just a little bit under 30 inches of snow. This last stick represents what we normally get in the Baltimore area. Just a little under 2 feet of snow. So some years we have a lot more snow than we do in other years. This coming winter, nobody knows at this point how much snow we're going to get, how much ice we're going to get. But be sure one thing, we'll be tracking those snowstorms for you. Be careful with that ice. That's winter weather here in the Mid-Atlantic. Tim has a look right now at what causes all that precipitation. Tim has a look at clouds. Tim?
Of course, you can't have snow or rain without the clouds. There are some clouds that we'd like you to know about. We're going to take a look at them right now. Clouds. We have seen many types and shapes, sometimes just by gazing up at the sky on a nice afternoon, sometimes because we are attracted by a colorful sunset, and sometimes because the sky gets so dark that we can't help but wonder what's going on. But have you ever wondered what kinds of clouds there are, how they form, and why we need them? There are 3 main types of clouds. The low, thick clouds are called stratus. The puffy clouds that build up are called cumulus, and the high, thin, wispy clouds are called cirrus. They are made of ice crystals. Clouds form as part of the water cycle. The sun uses its energy to draw water up into the sky. This is called evaporation. When you get enough of that water, clouds form. Eventually, the clouds get too heavy and rain falls out of them. Rain goes back into the streams, creeks, and oceans. Then the cycle starts all over again. Clouds are incredibly important to all human, animal, and plant life. Without them, we would not get the rain and water needed to survive here on Earth.
We'll be right back with more Weather Field Trip Day. It's WJZ. Now, back to Weather Field Trip Day on WJZ.
We want to really drive home this cloud. This is a cumulonimbus cloud. Why is this cloud important?
Look at it, it produces strong winds, hail, heavy downpours, lightning, tornadoes, and it can cause severe weather. And we have plenty of severe weather right here in Maryland. So now let's learn more about severe weather. Take a look.
Thunderstorms can give you a spectacular show, but they can also give us the most violent weather on Earth, tornadoes. The main tornado season runs April through August. Tornadoes can happen at any time of the year. They just need the right conditions. 1, warm, moist air clashing with cooler, dry air to form thunderstorms. 2, some sort of rotation to get these storms spinning. That rotation usually comes from the jet stream. Tornadoes can be scary, but a few simple rules can keep you and your family safe. The important safety tip is to go inside if a tornado is coming. Go to your basement, or if you don't have one, go to a room in the middle of your house on the first floor that doesn't have any windows, even if that means it's a closet. And kids, if you have a helmet, grab it so you can protect your head. Though most thunderstorms don't produce tornadoes, every thunderstorm has lightning, and lightning is dangerous. Did you know that lightning strikes on Earth almost 100 times every second? Thunderstorms form so quickly that it's really easy for us to get caught outside. If you ever find yourself in this situation, go inside immediately. If there is no building around, head to your car. If you are at the beach or at the pool, get out of the water. When a thunderstorm finally passes, you should stay inside for at least 30 minutes after you see that last flash of lightning or hear that last rumble of thunder.
And if there's one piece of information that you leave here with today, I hope that is the difference between a watch and a warning. A watch means caution, you need to watch the sky. because conditions are favorable for severe weather. They're issued for things like tornadoes, severe thunderstorms, flash floods even. But a warning, and this one is the real important one. That means danger. That means it is time for you to get inside and take shelter immediately. Warnings are issued when severe weather is on its way or it's already occurring. They're issued for tornadoes, severe thunderstorms, flash floods, and even river flooding. So make sure that you know the difference between a watch and a warning. Now let's hear about hurricanes. Bob, it's all you.
Thank you, Chelsea. And we're talking about hurricanes. Here in the Mid-Atlantic, every year we're subject to the possibility of tropical storms and hurricanes. Even here in the city or away from the water, we can have tremendous damage from the winds, from hurricanes. Let's take a look at what hurricanes are all about. Hurricanes are storms that form out over warm water. Before becoming a hurricane, these storms go through many different stages. The first stage is called a tropical depression. This is when the storm starts to rotate. As the storm strengthens, it builds into the second stage, a tropical storm. This is also when the storm is given a name. Why is that? Well, to help us remember storms and track them as they move across the ocean. Remember, there can be more than one at a time. If the tropical storm keeps growing and getting stronger, it becomes a full-blown hurricane when the winds hit 74 miles per hour. Hurricanes range in strength from a Category 1 to the completely devastating Category 5 with winds in excess of 155 miles per hour. When hurricanes make landfall, they bring flooding rains, strong winds, and what we call storm surge. Storm surge is the push of water that comes onshore as a huge wave. Unlike tornadoes and thunderstorms, hurricanes don't happen quickly. But when they do occur, pay attention because they're some of the most powerful weather forces in nature. Now, officially, the hurricane season here in the Atlantic and the Caribbean starts on June the 1st and goes, believe it or not, to the end of November. That's the typical period in the Atlantic and the Caribbean where the water is warm enough to support the growth of these tropical storms and hurricanes.
We'll be right back with more Weather Field Trip Day. It's WJZ. Now, back to Weather Field Trip Day on WJZ.
Chelsea now has a look at probably one of the most important aspects of weather. It's the jet stream. Chelsea?
Have you guys ever heard of the jet stream? If yes, say yes. If no, say no. All right, well now you get to learn. Take a look.
The jet stream is a river of air way up in the sky where airplanes fly. It is the current that pushes our storms along and drives our weather. There are two very different air masses in each hemisphere that are constantly in combat. The colder, dry Arctic air fights the warmer, moist tropical air. The jet stream forms on the boundary between these two air masses. And remember, the Earth rotates. That rotation makes the boundary move west to east around the world. That's the same reason our storms generally move in the same direction. Occasionally, the jet stream starts to move up and down. That's when storms form and why we get our big swings in temperature. When the jet stream dips down, cold air rushes our way, and when it pushes above us, it brings the warm air with it. Even though you can't see it, the jet stream is one of the most important parts of our weather.
When we are at the TV station, there's a certain amount of magic involved when we do our jobs. Let's send it over to Tim Williams for more.
Well, there's a certain amount of imagination you have to use to do our job. There is the magic of something called the green screen. And we had somebody who really wondered what it was like. Take a look. So this weekend looks to be pretty nice. Overall, the forecast is going to be really nice. So it looks like a pretty nice weekend to do anything you want to do outside. Warm and humid over Maryland, so get outside, get your bicycle, and go out and enjoy yourself. Wait a minute. Is that the Oriole bird? Mr. Bird, come on over. It looks like you're a little confused. This is our green screen. Take a look. Let me explain to you how this works. So you want to see what I do? All right, well, through the magic of television, we take the color green and we can make it anything we want. And then when we take the color away, you can imagine being any place and we can make that green anything you can imagine. Want to try it? And where would you like to go, Mr. Bird? And here he is. Say hi to the bird.
All right, remember those pictures we took earlier today, the selfies? Well, we're going to have them up here for you on the Megatron. There we go.
We want to thank you for coming out, braving the rain, to our 8th annual Weather Day. We hope you had a good time.
Thank you all. Try to stay dry. Try to enjoy this day. We really love having you here, and we'll see you tonight on CBSBaltimore.com or WJZ 13 Baltimore. Thanks so much, folks.
And we really hoped
Thank you, kids.
learned something today. Thank you.
Thank you.